Alright folks, we're here in episode 23 of the challenge series, ever so closer to Dream Car Championship Plus. And this episode is frenetic. That's putting it lightly, I must be honest. The opening screen here is pretty much a tell-all, but in order to see exactly how it unfolds, watch the video. Or skip ahead if you're an asshole. Nice lights. And here for race 1 of the episode, we are at Laguna Seca for the 640 class race to open things off. And the first vehicle focus, as you can see there, Emi Ibarazaki's Integra has been redesigned to, quote, better fit me as a person. I guess it makes sense because she had a JTCC livery for a car that she's not even driving. That was an Accord design, not an Integra. And she never got anywhere near a touring car before the Challenge Series. If I'm not mistaken, it's the blue because it's her favorite color. The chrome is to allude to her prosthetic legs. And the yellow is because that's her hair color. The other car of note, also ironically an Integra in this race, it is me. I have debuted yet another car. Now I run an Integra as well. This weird abstract lightning thing going on. I was on my Michelangelo. Who the fuck is that? I was on my Michelangelo shit when I made this one, and also I'm definitely holding up my teammates right now. Holy shit. I'm holding up Kotori, but Kotori is holding up Maki. He starts going down the grid back to find Emi, who's also currently in a Mercury sandwich. I wouldn't eat that though. Whether it's referring to the living people that are on the team or the actual element, neither one's really good for you. I don't know, I guess maybe eating people tastes good. I haven't tried. You know? I'm not Mr. Grimm up in this piece. So I think Mulsanne just passed, or attempted to pass Nozomi, but that Mustang's got too much power. She'll shoot back on its outside up the kink and prevent Emi from making any further progress. She instead pushes Nozomi ahead of Mulsanne, and she'll then pass the Alpine driver too. Kotori got around me, Maki's yet to do so. I've not had the same luck in the lower divisions as I have with my Viper. I've literally grabbed an Integra and I put the RX-7 in 680 because the RX-7 wasn't doing anything in 640. If every race goes like this, then maybe doing the same thing for the Integra as well. Am I dumb? I'm dumb. Okay, there we go. There's Ibarazaki. Passing the other Integra of myself. Maki takes advantage of me being overtaken and then also passes me, and next I'm sure Kochiya is not going to be too far from it. This has not really been the greatest first impression from this Integra. Mind you, I am not super experienced with front-wheel drive, I prefer rear. And he sends it on Thrasher after already getting ahead of Kotori on the way down to the turn, and clears the Mustang thing on exit. Oh! Lowrider moment. Now her last challenge is Honoka in the lead in that NSX. I think I joked at one point when I was building the Integra, maybe there should be your car, or the NSX seems to fit more in a higher category. But then of course I was reminded that, oh right, she already has a different NSX in that category, so that would be pointless. So it's gonna be the battle of Honda's two main sports cars, albeit from slightly different years. I guess the NSX existed in '98, so... Emmy down the inside into T1. The Honoka brakes a lot later. And also running the outside lane gets a better exit from the hairpin. Thrasher is still looking on in case these two wreck each other. He will be the one that collects. Avoid that curb on the right like it is the plague, because it likes to launch you into other people. Too wide again, Honoka still braking later than the Integra dares. And he has another run heading towards the kink. Shoots on the outside of the kink, and that's the pass. That's the weirdest place to do it, but if it worked, it worked. Now it's basically just Sector 3 to navigate, and we will have a winner. And heading up to the last turn. Emi Barzaki heads out of the last turn, and the redesign seems to have worked. She'll win at Laguna Seca over fellow Honda driver Honoka. Thrasher finishes on the podium at his home circuit, but that's kind of a low point for him considering his record here. Everybody do the conga line! What the heck? Maki was the one holding up the train, not me. I think that was literally what was like a... I think that was literally it was a 2458 or 24568 for Mercury, and then Nico and Hanyo started way in the back. Not a whole lot they could do. Not at this track. Passing, not the easiest task for some drivers, especially ones that are low on horsepower, like a Yaris or a Megane will be. So, into race 2. Nice lights, again. We're here at Deep Forest for the second race. 4-lap race with the 720 class. As mentioned before, as we get closer to Dream Car Championship Plus, there are going to be more 720 races, as Default just about puts DeFrisco in the grass twice. Firebird's not the easiest thing to control, to the surprise of probably no one, as he steps out in the background there. As you can see, yes, the camera car is Dominic DeFrisco. He started last. He hasn't actually run many of the 720 races on the lead up to this event. Like, to the next championship. He's only run, I think, 2 or 3, including this. So he's gonna have to make good on the ones he does attend, because he really hasn't been making many of them. Certainly not in comparison to the likes of me, or Nico, or Taylor, who have run in just about all of them. Although sometimes it's better to not run than run and finish terribly. Some people, such as Travis Wilde, have really not had great results, even though they have shown up for the vast majority of them. Guarantee you this 911 GT1 will probably still end up in the bottom 5 by the end of this race. That's a lot of speed from the 458. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised that a Ferrari's going fast. Oh, unfathomable concept. A Ferrari moving quickly. What? Inconceivable. This long raid's possibly one of the weirdest corners in the game. Considering it seems like every car, all-wheel drive or not, likes to step out at the end of it. Already up to 7th. Could be 6th on Nico, especially if he can keep his car pointed the right way. I saw him step out there. Hikari wanted to take advantage of the Viper's compromised line, but the Viper just has too much power. Speaking of power, holy crap. It's going to be easily 180 at the braking zone for the 458. Meanwhile, it is a battle for the lead. Wayne trying to take it away from Kogasa and just slams her out of the way for it. Alright, that seems about fucking right. Although I can't really speak much better to the way that DiPrisco just took these places either, I don't think. Actually, no. That was just Raw too eager on the throttle. DiPrisco, it did not make contact there. Usually Dom is a pretty clean racer, so... Despite the fact that he seems very edgy and on edge at the same time, he constantly seems like he's looking around at his surroundings like he's got snipers trained on him or something. He is a relatively easygoing man. Even if he sometimes speaks out of turn, it's like he always seems like he has somewhere else to be. I guess that's the best way I can put it. Oh gee, oh Christ. Well, he races everyone clean except for this guy. Which, to be fair, he kind of deserves to be raced like a dick after that. Just absolutely screwed Erica over. Yeah, it's no secret, these two don't like each other. I guess more so, Dom doesn't like Wayne, for events that happened several years ago. He literally cut the corner to get to him and just didn't brake. And then Rule 2, double tap. And in his efforts to recover the car, he just reverses straight into Erica Roth. He's one of those that, Dom takes him out, but usually nobody else even bats an eye, because part of them wants to do it too. They may just have some kind of moral code or something that just tells them they shouldn't do it, but if they see somebody else do it, they certainly won't say no. I can never find the breaking point for this hairpin. As Wayne's trying to get his way back up the field after getting turned. He didn't ultimately lose that many places, although that is probably the result of the fact that he just reversed into the field. So nobody could go around him. He makes like a half send on Nico, but doesn't actually brake late enough for it to really be a send. Misses a shift, you don't want to do that too much. His equilibrium is probably non-existent now after being turned. The lowest power car on the grid is actually catching up to Kogasa. Alice Carson has sub 500 horsepower in this NSX. I think it actually has the real-life horsepower figure of the Takata Dome NSX. I remember right? It's like 490 or something. I may also be totally wrong on that figure, so she got really close through there. But, Kogasa fucks. Just nothing. Although she is pretty much secured in third because I'm nowhere nearby. So, one brutal takedown later, Dom DiPrisco heads up the hill to claim the victory at Deep Forest. I did say he had to make good on the ones he did run, and, well, he did. And by any means necessary. Kogasa and Alice will finish out the podium, as I believe they started like first and third, so they really didn't change much in their positions. Wayne could not take 5th away from Nico. He'll have to settle for P6. Erica, who was running P5 when that crash happened, is demoted to 9th place, thanks to Wayne Hansen not knowing how to rejoin the circuit. So you gotta love that. On to round 3, where we hopefully won't have that bad of a takedown. Finally, all 3 lights go out, and we are here for the 600 class race. We're using the Red Bull short layout. Trayout? What is a trayout right here? First time we're using this variation of the circuit. Honestly, first time I've even used it in the game at all, really. I never used this anywhere else either. Camera car is Ivan Sodakov, who, although despite the fact that he seems to be average at best in the 720 category, in which his C63 now sits, I think he might be the best driver in the 600 class, and obviously this like half race car 300 SCL of his probably contributing a little bit to that. What am I looking at? They're 3 wide through the second to last corner. This can only end awkwardly. It would end terribly if they were real people, but AI just have that way of just not wrecking in places when they should. Because they are AI. Shoji Thakure, now they're 3 wide into turn 1. And Ivan will probably get those places just off of the virtue that he has way more horsepower than them. That's kind of the biggest contributor to his success, is that he has way more horsepower than anybody else. I think this thing pushes like 360 or something. The second highest in the category is 290. And that belongs to my dad's Firebird, which is being worked on right now. So it's not even able to contest him for the moment. Yeah, remember, I think it was just like a... I don't remember what was wrong with that Firebird. I think there was some sort of like muffler problem, and they're having a hard time finding a new muffler for a car from 40-something years ago. I know, big shocker there. It was either the muffler or it was the radiator. One of those two things is what's wrong with that Firebird, if I'm not mistaken. And Sodakov is just running his way through the field. 3 laps in. Mind you, each lap isn't even a minute. It's barely a minute long. This lap may very well not be a minute long, as Ivan's now caught the leader, Marcus Mendez. And he's just going to out-drag it. Yeah, this lap is not going to be a minute long. It's going to be 57 seconds long. So we've already passed halfway through the race. Ivan's in the lead, and he's just going to fall away, I'm sure. What is this mirror looking at? Okay, never mind. I was like, this mirror doesn't seem like it's looking at the road at all. That one is. But the left one doesn't seem like it's looking at anybody. It's looking at the grass. And in the mirror, Marcus Mendez is already a mere speck. You'd think he lives here. Line mistaken. What's this lap going to be? 55-2. Taylor might just want to commit to 720. You've had success there. This car, it looks nice, but it's not fast. Oh, it is a selection of hot hatches attempting to pass Shoji Hakure, one already did earlier. He's another one that's not having a whole lot of speed in this EK Civic of his. He started second place. I would just like to make that known. He started second place and he's already almost in the bottom. He's already in the bottom half. Why is this camera so far back on the Stratos? We're about to see Koizumi go for a send on that Mini. As Linen will send with the lowest horsepower in the category at 195. Has grabbed a P2 away from Mendez for the moment. He might take it back here though. He got to the inside and he will. So Mendez will fight for his right to be the first loser. But yeah, I mean you can look on the map. I don't really have to speak on that. Malsen might take it back, if he thinks better of that. And out of the last corner, Ivan Sodokov is going to absolutely crush the competition here at Red Bull Ring. Another 55-second lap time for good measure. Mendez will hold off the A110 for P2. And it was a train behind them. Seriously, holy crap, this looks like Daytona. And then distant 13th for Rise, nobody else crossed the line before the session ended. Shoji ends up 15th, got passed by Helena Stone later on. Yeah. I think Shoji and Taylor need to sort of reevaluate their category choices. Find a new car, perhaps. Because it's not like they're bad drivers. Taylor has had pretty good results with their G70, but that's in the top division, not here. If anything, it'd be harder to perform there because the better drivers are mostly up there. Shoji, on the other hand, I can't really say the same thing for. In his FK8 Civic, he's not done a whole lot either. So, I don't know. I can't really give advice for that other than just practice. A lot of the tracks just have open testing, you know. At least a lot of the ones we frequently run. Anyway, race 4. We're here for race 4 of the episode, and it's something that has occurred to me. Despite the fact that they are the creator of the Challenge series, Gina really doesn't have the camera on her very often. This is only the second time, I think, in the whole series that she's had the focus. As you're here at Tokyo Expressway, holy traffic jam. Yep, that's expressway traffic. What the heck just happened up there? Now I want to see what that was. Who just, like, pinballed? That looks like that might have been Miller. Oh, Takahata just about found his R34. I don't know what happened, but he just pinballed. I think he was trying to make too many lane changes. Mishima is just obstructing me. Yeah, he brakes and I think he tries to move over to go around me, but he doesn't get to do that. He loses a place to Vegas for his troubles. Oh, jeez. That's a lot of fire. I do believe this thing has an anti-lag system, so that doesn't surprise me. 3 wide, why not? Double overtake for Gina. On Schwartz and Parker. Yeah, this is definitely, I imagine, what negotiating... Oh, hi, Joseph. This definitely is what I imagine negotiating Shutoku Expressway traffic is like at an hour like this, normally. Sure is convenient that they're willing to shut down this This major, yeah, Gina flashes lights at Natsuki, not really pleased with that conduct. It's really convenient that they're willing to shut down this part of this important road over Tokyo so often for these races. The inside of Takahata gets into him a little bit even. As this is a car that I think will look absolutely hilarious at this track. Siegfried Brandt is here with his 1100 something horsepower S13. Goodbye! Goodbye. Goodbye. Just no competition. 227. The 720 class doesn't even do that here. Of course, he leaves a bit to be desired as Gemini goes for second on Taniguchi. We got some super battling, and Gemini just about walls Akira. They continue to bump. And Gemini, who's pretty much made a second home out of Tokyo, will grab P2, but not really by the means that I expect from him. Usually super laid back. As Gina has already made her way into 5th place. Probably using the sluggish Reiko Mishima as a pick. On the outside of the DB5, apparently, oh, now is not the time to use that gear. Now is not the time to use that. Well, I thought Brandt would be weak in the corners because of the setup he has to keep the thing stable on straights. But, apparently not. And then as soon as he gets to any kind of straightaway, he hits 180 almost hitting for this hairpin. Gemini, meanwhile, isn't even going to get to 150. Gina does. And she's catching up to Gemini and getting into Gemini. You're really not making yourself look any better than Natsuki here, you know that, Gina? You're gonna flash your lights at her or bumping into you, but then you bump into 3 other cars. And now we look at the uninhibited S13 as it breaks 200 before we even start getting out of the tunnel. .218, but he has to get on the brakes early. Meanwhile, Gina will reach 183, 184, and then she'll have to brake. She can brake later, but that doesn't matter a whole lot when she's doing 30 some miles an hour less than the S13 and accelerating nowhere near as quickly. As it has begun to lightly rain on the circuit. This was not in the forecast, but I suppose with all the clouds that were overhead at the race start, really, I guess it makes sense. With how light this rain is, it may not be enough of a moisture thing to actually affect the track. I don't know how much water we'll be able to stand in the next 2.5 minutes. It certainly made Brandt a bit more cautious. And Gina knows that, and so she's having to push the car to have any chance of beating this S13, because she can't do it on straightaways, she's got to do it on corners. But the rain makes the task of beating somebody through corners a little more risky. This will be interesting, and while it may look like Gina's about to take the lead away from that S13, no. Absolutely get the heck out of here. It was time for Brandt to leave. He had seen everything. Gina laid on the brakes to try and make up some time on him. But now we're out of the hairpin, and you can kiss that S13 good fucking bye. Look at how it just pulls away as we begin the final lap of the event. Yeah, you can barely see the darn thing. It's just up ahead. I think it's just over the line now. now hits 220, despite the rain, which you'd think would make him more cautious. He actually floors it more to get away from Gina. There is a bit of standing water. You can see in the moisture gauge in the bottom left. That's about enough where the racing harder tires might struggle to find traction. But because it's the final lap, he would be an absolute idiot to not live with it and, you know, stay out of the pits. Pitting under these conditions is ill-advised at best. Gina still further pushing her luck. He's so slow, that's about the only reason she didn't pass him there. He just parked the bus. Because he just has the liberty to do that. Gina takes the lead, but she'll have to make a pretty good escape plan here if she's going to get far enough clear to not lose the place to him down the main drag. And looking at this, I'm going to go ahead and say that she did not succeed. He's actually about to catch her before we even get to the next hairpin. Don't think that's far enough. No, absolutely not. Just as Siegfried Brandt crosses the line to take the victory at Tokyo Expressway at speeds beyond the sound barrier, Gina, P2, and Violetta Vegas, who I believe started this race outside the top 10, will complete the podium. I don't know if the session lasts long enough to show this. Yeah, it does. So, Vegas third, Gemini, Akira. Oh, Maki barely stole fifth. Holy crap. That was close. But Maki got fifth from Akira, literally at the line. And as you can see, here's my first race in the RX-7 as a 680 car. I beat Thrasher. Yeah, this is still outside the top 10, so there's still work to be done. Anyhow, now, on to the last race of the episode at Fuji. We are green for the final race of the episode, and it is, as you can see, not a roulette event. Instead, it's a second 720 category event, and we're here at, aforementioned, Fuji. 4 laps. The camera is on Wayne Hansen. And I think anybody with 3 brain cells could probably figure out a very high possibility event that'll probably happen throughout the course of this one. If anybody saw on the starting grid, the very specifically placed red at 458 on the grid. You can also just see him ahead of Reen on the running order there. Yeah, I think Wayne, I fully expect him to not be happy after Deep Forest. I'm sure I wouldn't be either. He's already up to P10, looking for 9th on Scarborough. He's not going to get it here, though, as there's contact behind him. I think Cam broke a little conservatively. Looks like the 2 Ryans weren't ready, as I maybe kind of sort of botched the exit there. Worry about that. Trying to pass my Mercury teammate and fellow Viper of Reen. It's not working. And Ellie might just instead pass me. Never mind. She had a lot of oversteer on the exit. That's not something Wayne usually needs to worry about. He's in a 4-wheel drive Lamborghini. He's going to have a lot of traction. Ahead of Ellie. Barely getting ahead of me. And Reen is catching both Dom and Tyler, and Reen's playing interceptor here, and uh-oh. Left the space, though. And off the track they go. Honestly, compared to what Dom did to him at Deep Forest, that really wasn't that bad. That's not going to do much damage to the 458. And I guess... yeah, no, the Murcielago took way more damage than that, the spin earlier. Obviously not too much, he was able to fix it for this race. But... he did go face first into a wall at about 60 miles an hour, so... look at this one more time from this perspective, and yeah. Ultimately, I don't think the Ferrari would actually take much damage from that, and then Wayne Hansen just aggressively rejoins the circuit like nothing happened, like he just missed his braking point a tiny bit. And he's now back in this hullabaloo with Tyler versus Mercury Racing. Tyler unsure of how to make that corner, apparently. He had to keep second-guessing his speed. And with that, Hansen moves to P4. Still more Mercury Racing drivers to clear. He has to pass Honoka and Nico still. But Brian Ice, and a fellow Lamborghini driver, is currently leading. Almost looked like Honoka ran Nico off the road, or at least ran her up a lane. There actually was no contact, but from that angle it looked like there might have been. Now, Honoka has also clearly learned exit traction. It took her a lot for her to downshift there, as Wayne just scorches past these two. Neither one really able to put up a whole lot of resistance, apparently. It is now tracking down Brian Ice for the lead. It's going to be a Lamborghini battle like we're back in Hot Pursuit 2. I've already made that kind of joke before, though. It was just that then it was a Carrera GT, not a Murcielago, against Brian Ice and myself. Nico could get up here as Honoka actually takes third from her. And then we could continue that joke again. They make a bit of contact, I think, into turn... this is 3. We run the carousel. Behold, a mountain. What's that shot? Oh, Ice just cuts Ice... Ice cuts Hansen off into turn... I guess would be 5. Through the half corner of 6, and Ice runs him off again. That's a lot of grass, and overcorrects. That's oh, that's a ow. That's a big hit on the wall. I think he actually shut off the engine there, and he managed to at least get it started back up. So he is not out of the running, but I'd be surprised if that thing's in perfect running condition, especially considering the engine's back there, not at the front. Wouldn't be any sort of power effects if this were a front-engined car like, say, Nico's Viper. But a mid-engine Murcielago, that engine probably might have taken a hit there. Has enough power to get ahead of Nico for the last turn. Borrow some slipstream from Honoka. He's already back to second, so... something tells me that that didn't actually damage his car all that badly. And while I can't speak for the other girls in the race, I know I'm certainly rooting for these two nincompoops to get together again. Especially if I know Wayne, he'll probably not be happy about that. Oh, yeah, no, he's very displeased. Behold a mountain, not right now. He does take the lead. He doesn't actually get a whole lot of revenge back, but Ice just sends it on him and pushes him off of the circuit again. Just get a better angle of that move. He gets kind of shoved aside there by Hansen. Almost called him Ice again. And... zero shits given, just clatters his fender, and that makes him lose control as he attempts to correct the car. Yep, there it is. There it is, and they've taken both of them out. They've both just hit the wall very considerably hard. Wayne Hansen literally just suicided himself for that revenge. I'll use a way better angle. Yep. They both take themselves out. Ice into the wall at a very low speed. Oh, Hansen with a much bigger hit. And on the final lap, neither of the Lamborghinis are going to win this race. Ellie passing me in the yellow flag. You're not supposed to really do that. But ultimately, I don't know if I care. Hansen's car still works. I think Ice just DNF'd from that. Okay, no, well, he's running, but, like, last. And his car is just kind of bouncing a little bit. He's ahead of Scarborough. He's still got some pace in that Lamborghini, but I think he's probably, flying up too near the sun at this point. Oh, he's loose again. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh. That's a DNF'd idiot right there. And this one wasn't on ice. It wasn't on with DePrisco, and Ream didn't hit him either. He just tried too much with too little time, and that's a critical impact. Meanwhile, in the Legion of Doom, amidst the chaos, Hono Kokoska is actually going to be the one that grabs the win at Fuji. Followed by Nico. Following Hansen's DNF, actually, this is going to be a Mercury Racing Top 5 lockout. What the hell? Take the leading non-Mercury car. DePrisco doesn't even end up in last. He ends up barely scavenging 15th place. So yeah, that was ugly. I think Brian Ice managed to meander to the line with a car that was apparently crab walking really badly. I mean, it makes sense. But he ends up getting ahead of Hansen because he actually finished the race. Wayne Hansen, after his over-aggressive last-second push to try and limit damage, instead just gave himself a hell of a lot more damage, literally and metaphorically. So, yeah, not great. Hansen DNFs, and he's probably got two very angry Italians. Dom is Italian, Brian's Canadian, Riker. Have we not been looking at the nationality flags on the leaderboards this whole time? He's got two very angry Italian cars, who I'm sure would like a word with him right about now. Especially since he basically kamikazed Ice. His attack on, DePrisco wasn't nearly as bad as what DePrisco did to him at Deep Forest, to be fair. But he took basically both himself and Ice out of the race at the final, at like the first of the big hairpins. The first of the, like, what is that, 4 consecutive hairpins? So yeah, there's going to be some very unhappy people in the paddock. But that's a story for another time, as we must now conclude matters here in episode 23. 24, this is going to be the big one. Dream Car Championship Plus has arrived. And it's going to be messy, I think, because there's a lot of angry people in the 720 category. We're going to have Hansen interacting how he will with Dom DePrisco and Brian Ice. Nico Misoto versus pretty much every female driver on the track, and then myself, because he's attacking all of the females on the track. He's kind of looking like one half Alice in Chains right now. I'm not even supposed to say that name, but... Nah. What are they gonna do? I don't even know who they are. I'm just not supposed to say it, because I'm just not supposed to bring it up. Sort of a Red Act type thing, but ultimately it's not like I'm gonna be arrested for saying her name, or physically assaulted for it. She's in handcuffs. Somewhere in probably like Alcatraz or something. I don't know. Maximum security. So yeah. Dream Car Championship, as mentioned before, will be two separate parts, 3 races per episode, with little dialogue sequences in between some of the events. Basically determine the first half's champion of the series. So there's a lot riding on it, because that's a pretty major achievement. So that's pretty much like, we've come to that, well, we haven't, this is the end of the second segment. The first Dream Car Championship was the first segment. Anyway, before I hit the episode limit, until 24,